Take two. Hi, everyone. This is Julie Stark with On Your Left Fitness and Timing, and I'm here with Steve Landau from Everyone Runs and Dr. Luis Leon, vascular surgeon here in Tucson and a major ultra runner, just ultra athlete in general. You've done distances, I believe, up to over 200 miles or up to 200 miles running. You've been to Leadville. There's a story behind that, but I know that you've done Leadville, and then you've also turned around and done the mountain biking side of Leadville. So you've run it, the 100 miler, and then you've also mountain biked it, which is pretty significant because you started like over 10,000 feet, correct?
Correct.
So, but also for me, I put on the Run Around Tucson relay, and the very first year that we put that on, you were one of the people that convinced me to do it in an ultra setting to allow people to run it solo, and it was you and one other person that did it, and I still can't believe that you guys did that. But thank you for joining us. Really, really appreciate you being here. You're a huge supporter of local races. I mean, I've run with you at a local turkey trot that was free, and we won the turkey hats. Remember that?
Yeah, we did.
So I pretty much appreciate, seeing you every time I see you, because you are such an amazing human being, as well as a doctor, a runner, and an athlete. So it's only logical to me that we have invited you here today so you can kind of give us your take as a physician, as an athlete. What do you think those of us in the community should be doing to take care of ourselves in this new abnormal?
Julie, Steve, thank you for having me. I saw the lineup of people that you guys have asked to be interviewed, and I just feel, humble because you have big names. I've heard interviews that you have done, like Kyle Trudeau, and doing these amazing things, and these other people who are highly accomplished. So I, to be honest with you, don't feel special about what I have done, but I feel that, and we can touch on that. I think there's sort of a pathology behind that we can discuss a little further. I'm not sure it's fully normal. And a lot of people who do these distances, I think there's a psychological background behind of what we do. And like I said, we can discuss that in the future. But I was going to tell you what to do. I'm not sure, Julie. I think we have to follow common sense. I think in this is a major health crisis like you and I have never seen in our lifetime. I just feel that knowing what we know, the risk factors of people who get really sick from contracting the virus, I think the best thing you can do for yourself is actually take care of yourself and make your heart and lungs as strong as you can. And that's following the lifestyle that you and Steve and I follow, which is exercise daily, if not 5 days a week or so. I have very strong feelings about people who say that going beyond an exercise threshold is harmful to your body. I just don't know that that's known. I am sure that there is a limit when, for you, running over 70 or 50 miles a week maybe it's harmful to your body. I just don't know we can actually put a precise number to that. I feel that whatever makes you happy and whatever keeps you healthy with a normal weight and not many medications that you need, it's actually beneficial. So the best thing I'm doing, as far as I'm concerned, for my family and I, like I shared with you a minute earlier, I'm not seeing my kids because I'm in healthcare and I'm exposed to the virus every day. And the worst thing, I could not live with myself if I come home and infect one of my loved ones. And so my ex-wife and I decided that for the best interest of our kids is that she will stay with them without going to the hospital. She's also in healthcare. So we decided that she will stay at home with the kids, and I will continue working and supporting the family financially, but minimizing the risk of exposure to my kids. So that in one side, minimizing our exposure to the virus, to patients. Social distancing to me is key, and we can have personal opinions about this, but I feel that the longer we delay personal contact, the better we are in the long run. And in the other hand, for yourself, I think keeping healthy, a balanced diet and exercise every day will minimize the chances of, God forbid, if you get the virus, to actually get very sick to the point of being close to death. Is my personal view on the subject.
How are you keeping yourself mentally sharp?
I think my job itself does that for us. Every day you see a patient is a different challenge. So luckily, Steve, one of the biggest fears I have for my future and ways to die is actually dementia. And so keeping my brain sharp is actually one of my priorities because of that fear I have, because I've seen enough people passing away with dementia. Is not a fun way to go. So my job, fortunately, keeps me challenged every day as to what to do with certain patients. Other than that, I just, don't smoke, don't drink, keep as active as I can be. And, um, and that's that really. Like I said, I'm blessed because my specialty challenged me every day as to choosing what's the right thing to do for a particular patient.
Yes, and your
I gotta ask you. So,
Correct.
what is you are a very healthy eater and an exerciser, and so what is your guilty food pleasure?
Carbs. I don't have a sweet tooth. Yeah, I don't have a sweet tooth. Like I need a bite of something sweet after every dinner or meal. But um, if you give me to choose between chocolate cake and rice and potatoes, I think maybe it's cultural because we Peruvians um, eat rice with every meal, and so that's something that I need with every meal. Um, but so that's my guilty pleasure. And I think sugars in general are bad, so I try to minimize that, but that's the hardest time I have.
I would imagine if rice is your foundation, that would be hard.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Luis, knowing about you, and as Julie brought up before, that you've done many ultras up to 200 miles in Leadville back to back. How did you become such a great athlete?
Again, Steve, thank you so much for saying that. I just don't consider myself that, but I feel that I have done distances. I think with the fear of sharing a little too much of private life, um, and the more, let me tell you, when I go back to my history and I remember running up to marathon distances, and I was happy with that. But always I had this curiosity in my mind as to, can I ever do 100 miles? And um, this goes back to a meeting I had in Utah. Um, this is funny, and I'm going to share transparently with you. I was giving the talk, I was presenting this medical topic, and unfortunately, this was in a very nice place in Utah, and there was a lot of outdoors, so people actually chose that afternoon to go and do fun stuff as opposed to come to my talk. So we were expecting a lot of people, and in the end, it was only one other surgeon and I. And so we're chatting across the table, and we really didn't have much to talk. And one of the reps asked me, "Hey, do you run your 10 miles a day, 15 miles a day?" And I said, "Yes." So the surgeon asked me, "Hey, so you run?" And I said, "Yeah, I just run for fun. How about you?" He says, "Yeah, I do ultra marathons." And all of a sudden we click and start talking about this because I always had that curiosity, can I physically do 100 miles? So the guy asked me, I started inquiring him, how do you decide to do 100 miles? And he told me his story. And then he started asking me, what are your times in a 5K, 10K, half marathon? And I shared with him my times, and he told me, listen, I have no question in my mind that if you want to do 100 miles, you'll be capable to do it. Not only do it, but if you actually are smart about it, you can actually place really high in the podium. And so he gave me the strength to try. And I went and did it without much thought behind. And my first race, my first 100 mile was back in 2011, I believe, in Utah, the Pony Express 100 miler. And I was able to do it. And then um, there's something Steve called addiction to exercise. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but in the manual of classification of psychiatric diseases, now there's an entity just like diabetes or hypertension called addiction to exercise. And it has 5 criteria. And one of them is that you require increasing amounts of exercise or distances or time exercising to get the same pleasure. And so I can tell you that I think looking at my life, I meet all 5 criteria, sadly. And one of them is that. So I can tell you that in firsthand, I experienced the need for going up on the distances as time went by. And I'm not sure, some people, like I told you when we started, some people can see this as a positive trait. I think it is positive in a way, but also hasn't been enjoyable throughout these 6 or 7 years I've been doing that. Because I can tell you that at points, I have felt as a slave to my exercise, meaning that you cannot really follow a normal life without putting in the miles, or you feel extremely depressed, and you feel that your worth is diminished, and it's edges or goes beyond pathological levels. So I cannot say that, oh yeah, I feel great running and biking and living a healthy lifestyle, because at times, it has been more often than not, you just gotta fight yourself and try to get out to be feeling okay. And I don't think that's healthy, honestly, but it is what it is. You and I and Julie are wired differently. And I gotta tell you, it was a long time until I came to terms to the fact that there's something abnormal about it. But it's funny because recognizing it's not like alcoholism, I think, where you recognize you're an alcoholic. They say that's the first step for recovery. In my case, I recognize the problem, but yet I cannot find a way to get out of it. And so that's sort of the dilemma I fight every day, as to how to live a life without needing to exercise 7 days a week with no breaks. Um, I'm sure you can relate to some level to the same thing.
Yeah, there have been times where Mark has looked at me and said, "You need an attitude adjustment," and I know exactly what he's saying. I need to go for a run, and I don't need to run a lot of distance anymore, but I do, like, if I can get out and do 5 or 6 miles, I'll come back and that adjustment has happened.
Right.
So I think that, and mentally, not even physically, just mentally being addicted to that feeling, that release, is really important. So
I would say that during this abnormal time we're living in right now, one thing, being a runner can be therapeutic, because a lot of times we run with groups, or we run by ourselves and we get to think about our days and our lives. But you do, it's hard to miss your groups of friends that you're running with right now, you're swimming with, you're cycling with. Do you feel that way at all, Luis?
You know, unlike you, Steve, I'm not sure if you believe this or not. I'm not a very social person.
No.
Usually my runs are by myself. 99.9% of the time, I'm out, partly because of my schedule. I have to be ready to go to the open room at 7:20, so I have to get out of my house by 4. And so there's not many people that can join you on that schedule. But I can tell you that I enjoy my time by myself on the bike or running. So it's funny because in these times, my life hasn't changed much. Like the closed gyms, to me, doesn't affect me, because I hate the gym environment and the mid-market feeling of a gym. I just despise. I always, the most I enjoy running with one person or cycling with one person, but not really big crowds. So yes, I do miss friendships. I mean, you and I know Shokofe and Keith. I run with them long distances, and I miss that. But it's not that I enjoy big social gatherings. That was never my thing. I enjoy racing. Your guys' races, I enjoy being part of the community and all that. But if you ask me if I need that group feeling, I'm not that kind of person, no.
Gotcha. Okay. Very
well, thank you, Luis, for taking time out of your day. We greatly appreciate you doing this for us, and it's always nice to have somebody else's perspective on what they're doing, and whether it's changed significantly or not. You still offered some really good advice, and we appreciate that.
And
Thank you, Julie. It's amazing to be part of this. Like I said, I'm humbled by the invitation, and in anything I can help, like I said, anytime, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to.
Thank you for being such a great part of our community, and thank you for what you do for keeping us all healthy. We appreciate that. And hopefully we don't need to come see you anytime soon.
That's right. I don't think you won, but the feeling is mutual. Steve and Julie, love what you guys do, and this is just a group effort. We'll keep healthy together.
Thank you.
Thank you.